On July 29th, early in the morning, we have a full moon in Aquarius at 6 degrees. And there is so much more than just that. In this video, we're going to be breaking down all the deeper layers of what's going on, what's going down. And I'm so excited to dive in. This full moon, like, if you were on my live stream on Sunday, you saw my real reaction to realizing all the different pieces that were playing out. Wow. Wow, you can watch that the videos on this account. Now, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Izzy. I go by Astraemia here. This is where I do evolutionary astrology. You may know me from my other account, 8th House Mercury, where I do daily channeled messages. Ooh, I feel interesting. The energy is palpable right now. And for those of you unaware, I had to relocate very quickly due to some local wildfires. And so I've just been finding my footing again. So I appreciate everybody's patience with me getting the content that I love to do out. So this video is coming probably the day before the full moon. So it is what it is. A couple of other things that is happening within my sphere that I've been feeling the call to bring. At the beginning of this year, I ran an eclipse portal container. Now I'm going to be hosting that within my inner circle. So I have opened the inner circle up for those of you who want to join and drop in, and I will close it right before the eclipse portal so nobody can pop in or pop out. So it's going to be open for anybody to sign up who's interested in joining, and then we will close the doors for that duration of the 2 weeks. Okay. And so for anybody unaware, the eclipse portal, I'm like, what are the dates? August 12th to August 27th. So it's a 2 weeks time between eclipses. I have a video on the nodal shift down below. I'll be sharing more videos about the eclipses as they get closer. So I just wanted to let you guys know so you can sign up down below. Okay. I'm like, grab your drinks, get settled in, because we got a lot to talk about. I was just like channeling some more notes here about this full moon, because yeah, this is a precursor to the end of our nodal cycle and the eclipses that will be happening in 2028. That's a whole different story, but just going to put that here so we can reference back to this video when that time does come. But wow. So let's go ahead and put the chart up to the side here. There's a lot going down. So let's talk about a full moon in general. A full moon is when the moon is directly opposing the sun. Now, we've got a couple of other planets that are at play here. We have Jupiter conjunct the sun at this time. It's like amplifying this energy. It's adding a bit more oomph to it. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then additionally, we have Pluto just 2 degrees away from our moon in Aquarius, which is adding another texture to this. And then we have Mars and Venus squaring, and they're creating a semi-square to the juncture of Jupiter and the sun here. So there's a big conversation happening. So just naming those aspects already before we dive in. A full moon, a full moon. This is where we are at the peak of energy. This is more of a time for celebration, witnessing, observing, right? This is even from that primal aspect of our DNA. This is where we can actually see outside at nighttime. So there's more of a desire to connect, to be around other people, to go do things, to go celebrate, to observe the intuitive process. So you may be feeling a little bit more social at this time, but there's some interesting pieces that are coming up with this. Now, the archetype of Aquarius. And I do want to just name that Leo and Aquarius are going to be a hot conversation topic as we lead into the eclipses, as the nodes have shifted into Leo and Aquarius. So just let the information that I share here really just settle in and like absorb it, because this is going to be something you're digesting for the next year and a half, okay? Aquarius is the water bearer. It is the second to last sign. And the beauty about Aquarius is they hold the collective consciousness within their water pitcher. And there's this deep responsibility that comes with the Aquarian energy that I don't feel a lot of people realize, that Aquarius is actually one of the more sensitive signs because of their ability to connect to the collective consciousness. Similar to Pisces, it's just a bit different. It's more cerebral and more electrically driven. Think of our toroidal field that is built by our electric the electrical I can't say it, electric magnetic field around us. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that, but essentially our body creates its own auric field that interacts with other people's fields, and it's an electric pulse that moves through us. We have that moving through us, and Aquarius is deeply aware of that. And so when I'm your spokesperson for the moon in Aquarius, I natally have my moon in Aquarius, so this energy is deeply familiar to me. Though on the outside, this Aquarius full moon feels like detached and like cerebral and a little bit maybe sterile is the feeling. There's so much more happening beneath the surface, and we're going to be diving into this. And as we expand on this full moon energy, I feel like I have to talk about all the other things because it's really just propelling us into the illumination of this full moon. But look at where Aquarius is within your own natal chart and observe this is where our subconscious mind, the moon, is being highlighted. And let's begin diving in a bit deeper because I can only stay at the surface for so long. The fact that Pluto retrograde is just 2 degrees away from this moon means that the moon is crossing over Pluto and receiving some deeper insight before the peak of this full moon. So those earlier hours in the morning, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in the dream realm or in the morning time that some things are exposed that you've been working on underneath the surface. I've been talking to Pluto retrograde as this sort of rewiring of collective consciousness, of like understanding the neural pathways and how it's time for new operating systems, and we have to actually look inwards and see how we've been following those old tracks, those old pathways, and really consciously begin to like redirect the energy, redirect it. And so the moon crossing over this brings in an awareness, like our subconscious mind becoming deeply aware of these subconscious patterns that we've been reprogramming through Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, those collective patterns where it's like why you get fearful because of X, Y, and Z, or why you believe a certain thing because your parents told it to you or society told you to just sit in fear, right? It's those sort of things. And depending on where Aquarius is within your chart, it'll have a deeper layer of how that shows up in your life. Now, let's jump over to looking at the sun and Jupiter hanging out here. Wow. 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 Um, yeah. Okay. Hold up. I gotta jump back. I'm looking at my notes because I literally I wrote here, full moon illumination with Pluto retrograde, peeling back the wiring, surge of tension, discomfort, making the necessary changes that are between the spark traveling. Okay. I get a lot of imagery when it comes to sitting with these different transits, with the astrological energies. And I want you to think of like, I'm literally seeing like paddles, like the, for like, what are the things, the charge paddles to like bring a heart back to life. There's sort of this like moment between heartbeats, a moment between the electromagnetic pulses happening within your body of like, a pause, something crumbling, and then jumping into something entirely new. Now, in my live stream, a lot of people were equating that to jumping to new timelines, jumping to these new things. Do whatever you will with that information. If that's something that you subscribe to, absolutely. I'm not here to force feed any direction, but it's jumping into an entirely new operating system. Okay. Moving into Jupiter and the sun, this is bright illumination. Jupiter is our planet of expansion. And with the sun, this is like a gift on steroids, but I'm gonna be honest, it has a little bit of a ping in my mind happening where it's like Jupiter just brings a lot of energy. Like sometimes it's like, wait, I thought you wanted all these gifts, and you're like, I don't have the structure to hold all of this, right? Like, here's a lot of money, but it's like winning the lottery, where people who don't have the nervous system to hold that much wealth will lose it all. But Jupiter's like, but I brought you all this money, but then it brings you into all this debt, and then all these, like, right? It seems it's a blessing and a curse kind of thing, and it may it's bringing energy to our attention. It's bringing an amplitude of energy to our attention at this time. I was talking about it being like very dopamine, like, whoa, overload. Like, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. I'm just gonna be honest. Too much of a good thing is not good, right? That's what moderation is about, and balance, right? If we only just had all the light, we wouldn't appreciate it, because that would just be our baseline. It's like, wow, all the good, right? And that just takes me back to Adam and Eve, origin story, the fall, and yeah, the whole Jesus. I don't know. I went to the Christianity lens of things, where it's like, if we didn't have good and evil, right? How would we enjoy life, right? It's through the turmoil, it's through the tension, which we'll talk about the tension here, that we begin to actually grow, right? It's through pressure that diamonds are formed. And so there's sort of this interesting energy where, can you alchemize the things that are exposed? Because it almost feels like, the way I'm looking at this is like, literally your heart is being cut open, metaphorically, YouTube, and you're seeing all the wiring. It's almost like you're getting a full glimpse at all the patterning, which might be freaking terrifying to actually look at. But the sun and Jupiter are shining the brightest spotlight ever on this, on your wiring system. And Jupiter's like, look, I told you I'd bring in the light, I'd expose it, I'd bring it to your attention. Look. And it might not be pretty to look at, and especially with some bystanders witnessing you in this process. The deeper invitation with this full moon is, can you alchemize this, right? What Jupiter and the sun are bringing you and illuminating to you, instead of going like, oh, that's too much, I'm going to turn a blind eye. Now, this can apply to society at large, where people continue to turn a blind eye to the reality that we live in. Or, right, I'm going to apply it back to you. Like, where are you still hiding from yourself? Right? And it's kind of like Jupiter's like, look, I found it. And you're like, oh, fuck, that's not the thing that I wanted revealed. That's not the thing I wanted brought to the surface. There's a conflict with this full moon, not in a bad way, but in a, I'm not here to fearmonger astrology. That's never my intent. It's to give you the insight that you may do what you will with it. You cannot be caught off guard, because you know this information, and you can begin the alchemization of this. Now, we have Mars and Venus squaring each other at this full moon. Mars is our masculine energy, Venus is our feminine energy. Now, the moon is in the decan of Venus, the first decan of Aquarius, which is ruled by Venus. And Venus in Virgo, she wants to run a tight freaking ship. She understands her worth. She understands discernment. She understands how to remain in integrity within her energy. But Mars squaring her in Gemini is kind of like, live a little, be curious. And she's like, and Mars in Gemini is deeply curious, and kind of likes to spin on the plans, and like look at all the options and play into all the stories. And it can get a little I'm just seeing like a lot of birds flying around, like swarms of birds, where it can just kind of take you all over the place with no direction, right? And So these two creating a square together, there's tension between the masculine energy and the feminine energy. Squares can be embodied outside of you, where it's like maybe you're playing the role of Venus and somebody's playing the role of Mars, or vice versa, or you are noticing this is just showing up with your own internal drama. When I say drama, I'm talking about the drama of your life, the story of your life, the theater of your life, okay? So Venus in Virgo, she wants discernment. She wants discernment on, and she has a little bit more power here because of the moon's rulership. So she's more seeing the like, you need to look at that and see that. You need to see this thing that is happening with the moon. The wiring that is being exposed, that is corroded and needs to be replaced and needs a different circuit board, is what it feels like. Like, this feels very like cybernetic, like you're looking in and your heart's like, oh, I need like to, I'm seeing like Cyborg from Teen Titans. Like, it's like I need like to add on this new like implemented energy, this new technology, this new old technology, okay? Which is your intuition, your inner knowing. Anyways, now Mars and Venus are making a semi square directly. Like, in the moment, I was like, wait a second. I did the math. I'm like, wait, these are literally creating a semi square to the Sun and Jupiter. So it's through this tension. It's like, the Sun's like, look, I brought in this chaos for you. Like, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted all these things. And outside of the astrology, it's funny because astrology and my channeling go hand in hand. Sometimes I'll start channeling the energy and I'm like, wait, this relates to the astrology. And sometimes I'll hear people that do like channeled messages or card readings where I'm like, you're picking up on the astrology, right? Which, and I just heard like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? It's energy that is present. The semi-square that's happening from Mars and Venus to the Sun and Jupiter in Leo, it's just this irritable energy. And it really is the friction that starts the fire, right? I'm seeing the like, we just get the fire started, right? And it does take this like action and energy, inertia to get you freaking going. And this, I feel like, is the clarity that a lot of people have been searching for. And it's been like, all right, under your nose, because it is the patterns. And the patterns are being exposed at this full moon. The fact that Venus and Mars are both in the ruling signs of Mercury is very interesting to me as a Mercury ruled person, because there's sort of this cerebral understanding that's coming in, especially because Mercury just went direct. Trust me, this all plays together. I can't talk about all this stuff. This is where I will say this so lovingly. This is why you cannot, and I said this in my live stream, you cannot just like, for the sake of learning, yes, looking at the different individual aspects of your own natal chart is beautiful, but it takes, each of them are playing their own individual notes and own individual chords, and when it comes together, it's a symphony. That's what an astrologer does, is they're able to look at everything and how it's playing together. And you're seeing me do this here real time. If you feel that desire to get a reading from me, I have six or seven spots left for the month of August if you're interested. So those have been filling up. I feel honored and grateful. I love this. I love this. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's get back into it. The fact that Mercury just went direct in Cancer, it's almost like, oh, this is why we cleared out all the emotional substance. There's sort of this edge that, because it's all our personal planets, Mars, Mercury, Venus, right, that are in this. Mercury just went direct. It's playing into this story because we're understanding why we had the emotional releases, why the retrograde was clearing things out. It was like literally purging lingering energy, the like it's been giving this energy of like a lot of corrosion built up within like pipes or like buildup that had to be pushed out and removed. And now there's going to be more understanding of why, because of the pattern that's being exposed underneath the surface, the moon in Aquarius. The moon is ruled by the Five of Swords. Let's just talk about that. And the Five of Swords is grow through conflict. So I do feel that there is going to be edges coming up during this full moon to be really looked at, to be really felt and exposed for the sake of reprogramming yourself, for the sake of the greater good. And I've been talking about the North Node in Aquarius as well, which is literally like this full moon is just the start. What is happening at this full moon is the seeding energy of the nodal experience. Like what's happening here is the thing that's going to be integrating as we move forward, which is that part of you that you were told wasn't allowed, whatever that was. Look at your Aquarian house, right? Look at that energy. That part of you that was, you were told, like, nope, don't be that. Don't do that. That's weird. That's not acceptable. You'll be made fun of. You'll be bullied for that. Nobody likes that. And it's so interesting because it's like those things end up becoming like your greatest strength. And that is what is being asked to be like rewritten into your story again. It's sort of like I'm seeing like a dusty chest, like you're finally, and I heard like Pandora's box, like you're finally clearing it off. And it's like this exposing that's happening is like you seeing the part of you that you exiled for the sake of fitting in, for the sake of being liked, for the sake of being witnessed and being adored. Leo energy, South Node in Leo. And there's this greater good that comes in with humanity, Aquarian energy, that you actually radically being yourself 100%, being that wacky, weird freak that you are, which we all are, and we're all freaking pretending that we're not. Dude, I'm so freaking weird. That's why you guys like me. My moon's in Aquarius. I can't help it. I'm just weird. Tinfoil hat wearer. Me. Soon to be all of you. Anyways, that is what is coming through. Now, the Five of Swords does bring in like it's intense. Right? It really is this intense energy. Like, but the opportunity, because when we look at the card, this guy, the swords walking away, where there is tension, and it's sort of like there's no correct way through this full moon. There's not going to be a correct pathway, but it's you actually, the correct pathway is you actually witnessing yourself and your pattern that you actually want to rewire. This is literally your opportunity to start stepping into that. This is who I am energy. This is real. Do some Disney knees. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Gonna let the light shine on me. Okay. Now that we hold on, let's reset. We gotta. Whether this full moon is exposing your own energy or others around you, the Five of Swords asks you to take a step back and to witness and observe instead of like, you don't have to go into the battle unless you do feel that call to, right? This specific tarot card does invoke like the kind of uglier aspects of humanity, of like this, like, right? The need to be right. And you can either become a victim of your life circumstances or the repressed fears that like have kept this part of you small, or this pain that is surfacing can push you into something entirely new. And that's the great opportunity of this, is like, I can't do this any longer. How long am I gonna stay in this like tension energy? This is the opportunity to confront your demons where you have been playing into the patterns. And it's interesting, this morning I did channel a message about like, you're done playing into suffering. How long are you going to continue to choose to suffer for to just suffer for the sake of suffering, of like trying to fix, solve, save everybody. When you actually taking care of yourself and being all of you, you will find the people that actually desire the medicine you have to offer. Okay? Wow. Oh, hi, son. I'm going to really invite awareness around victimization. And I want to hand the power back to you. Because it could be very easy for you to drop into like, oh, woe is me, which have those moments, feel those feelings, but then invite in your higher self and say, how do we move forward? How do I embody the energy that I truly desire to be? Because that is that Aquarian North Node energy, is like literally, I'm seeing the star card. You stepping into following your, like, the light within you, the new hope for the new world, for the new horizon line that is like literally shimmering. And I'm like just seeing it in the distance. It's kind of like moving through a lot of mirages, right? Heat, the sun and Jupiter creating a lot of mirages, and it's like you just have to trust what is true within you. Okay. I'm going to be writing about this in my newsletter. If you wish to subscribe, it's totally free. Additionally, on top of me sending out emails about the lunations, new and full moons, I also share every Monday for the astro forecast for the week ahead. I write everything out that I talk about in my live stream, so definitely subscribe down below. And additionally, if you do feel that call to join the inner circle, we will be gathering on Wednesday the 29th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to deepen into this energy, and my entire back just lit up. And so I'm so stoked. Let me know if you're going to be there, my inner circle folks. I cannot wait to see you. If you want to know how this is affecting you and your rising sign, I'll be writing that in that newsletter that I'll be sending out. All right. I love you guys so much. We'll see you later. Bye.